Here's the strategy that I'm going to tell you that takes you from doing 1 or 2 houses every year or 2. Here's a strategy to go from 1 or 2 houses every 2 years to building out massive portfolios, even commercial asset portfolios, in less time with the same amount of money. Let's dive in. Really what it boils down to is that most people look at real estate the same way. I take a bunch of cash, I put a down payment, I go to a bank, I pray to the bank gods that they'll give me a mortgage, and then I throw all of that into one property, and then hopefully that goes well. Then I try to do that all over again, and I really only succeed doing that once or twice before I start arguing with my wife and figuring out that I don't have enough money for that, and it's creating too much stress, and probably there's a better way, but I don't know what that is, so I give up. That's what happens the majority of the time, or how most people see real estate investing. What if I told you that that is actually probably the worst way to be able to invest in real estate and to get to where you're really trying to get to? Because ultimately, the goal with real estate is to have passive income, to be able to build income that works in spite of you, where you're sleeping and you're still making money, where you're having a good day or a bad day, a great day or a really bad day, does not matter. People are paying you for the real estate that you're providing, either as renters or tenants or whatever. The way that you could do it, there's a lot of different ways, but the key is you have to have the real estate to be able to do all that. So how do you actually go about doing that? How do my students go about buying portfolios 10, 20, 30 plus at a time without using any or very, very little or none of their own money? How is that possible? Well, yes, you do need money for real estate, but it doesn't have to be yours, or maybe you don't need any money to actually get into it. Yes, money is involved, but it's how it's structured. It's really about 2 things mainly. One is the structure, and the second is the deal. So when you do this long enough and when you've done enough deals, you come to this unfortunate realization after only having gone through it, then you come to this realization. And that realization is that while it takes me a good amount of work, maybe some drama, to be able to do one deal with one house, and if I take a look at how much drama, work, and effort it takes me to do a deal with, let's say, 10 houses or an apartment building, it's actually not that much more work. So, and this is exactly the realization that I came to, why would I continue doing one house at a time when I could use the very same strategies that I would use for 1 or 2 houses at a time and use that for a whole bunch of houses or even commercial assets right out of the gate? And that's kind of the subject that I guess we're going to talk about here, because it makes a lot of sense to actually have this mindset or understanding of what is possible and what you can do. So think about it this way. The 2 things, right, that we mentioned before, the first one is the main one that we're going to focus on right now, is the deal. And then we can talk about structure. But if you have a really good deal that's just really mouth-wateringly good, and you know how to find those deals, and then part 2 is you know how to structure those deals and then bring that deal to somebody that is looking to invest, because think about it, inflation right now at the time of this video, it's May 2023, so inflation I think is around 5% or 6%, somewhere in that neighborhood, 4 to 6%, something like that, which means that if you have a whole lot of money sitting in the bank, you are losing significant amounts of money every year just by having that money sitting in the bank. Now let's suppose that somebody like you comes along to that person that has a couple million in the bank or many millions in the bank, and you say, well, hey, I have this deal and I'm getting into it at this price point, it's structured this way, where there's a ton of meat in the bone. You could come in with me if you're bringing along your weight, or you're lifting this weight, which should be, let's say, the financing component, and I'm structuring the deal, negotiating it, putting it all together, and I will manage the deal, operate it, and make sure it cash flows. I will do literally everything, right? And all you're doing is just that simple part of it. If you can do something like that, that is value, and that is worth money. And you could structure that in a way where you make an incredible amount per deal just for being able to do that. Some people, you know, they have very high paying jobs or they have great businesses, but then they have a problem. That problem is that they have money and they don't put that money into anything. So you are creating an excellent solution by being able to offer them that solution with something that is backed by real estate. So just with this general concept that we're covering here, I hope that kind of opens your eyes a little bit, maybe gets the brain cells going, the gray matter moving, whatever the phrase is that you want to use there. But you could do this exact same approach where you just need to know where and how to find the deals, structure them, and then bring them to those investors. But if you're doing that, what's to stop you from doing that very same thing that you would do normally, maybe with a single family, and do that with a lot of different houses, do that with apartment buildings, do that with whatever you want. If mobile home parks, whatever asset class interests you or tickles your fancy. When you have that approach and you have that know-how, you have that toolbox, and we talk about toolboxes a fair bit here, but when you have that ability, that superpower, it really is a superpower, because there's nothing that really stops you from scaling this to the moon. This is exactly how we acquire portfolios, how my students acquire portfolios, how they might start off acquiring just a house here and there. And yeah, initially you do want to build some credibility. So you might not necessarily start off with this, but you might do a couple deals. You might do gradually bigger deals with the ultimate goal, with your timeline being to graduate to those bigger deals. And surprising fact number, whatever billion this is in this video, it doesn't actually take that many deals to have that credibility intact. You can start off with family and friends, then you could expand that network out. And if you want to get really formal, we can get into that, but that's like a whole nother topic, and that's a pretty extensive topic. But it doesn't have to be that complicated, is my point. You bring something valuable, you bring deals, the money follows. You structure them, people get interested. If you like this kind of video, if this kind of content interests you, or if you have questions and you want to know more, tell me what you want to see in the subsequent videos. Tell me what kind of questions you have, and we'll cover those. And that's going to be by leaving a comment below. And if you really want to know about more videos coming out, because this is basically what we're going to be talking about, this and any questions that you guys have, that's going to be the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you get notified of the next time a video comes out. That makes a huge difference for me, because it encourages me to make more of these videos. And if you leave a like icon, it tells the algorithm on YouTube, the algorithm gods, that this video was good. If you thought it was, then all it takes is that click up like, and that'll be you doing your part and me doing mine. Take a click at the link below if you want to see some more about how exactly this is done, how I'm doing this, and if you want to not wait for the next video, but you want to jump right in and take a look at exactly, here's how you do it, that's going to be the link below, and also an explanation for how it actually works in more detail. Check it out.